That was a close one. But hey, a win is a win, right? Man, I ain't gonna lie. During the first half and most of the third quarter, I was getting a little aggravated how our guys were playing. Ty Simpson with the high throws, overthrowing the ball, receivers with all their drops. But they wound up pulling it out. In the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, my Tide wound up pulling it out to beat North Carolina 29-22. Not North Carolina. I'm sorry about that. South Carolina Gamecocks 29-22. Anyways, like I said, I was getting frustrated with the blocking. Ty constantly under pressure. I wouldn't blame one certain person for this game. Everybody was messing up in this game. But hell, like I said, I was aggravated at first, but after watching the game, and considering everything, for a team that just played a 4-ranked team gauntlet right before they played South Carolina, they did pretty damn good, They were all banged up and all that, so you really can't blame them, man. By now these guys are tired, banged up, and thank God we made it to a bye week without a loss. Well, without a loss in SEC play anyways. But this South Carolina game had the makings for an upset for Alabama to be beat. I expected it to be a close game. A lot of people kept saying that it wasn't. I know they were, a 12.5-point favorite, and I knew better than that. But it wound up being what I thought it would be. Well, I didn't think it'd be quite as bad as it was, but like I said, I don't blame our guys because they just come off playing 4-ranked teams, and they're gonna be a little banged up. Of course, our sure offensive line is quite banged up by now. That's probably why Ty was getting a lot of pressure, and which was making him trigger happy, which I can understand the overthrows. Him overthrowing Bernard. Bernard had wide open touchdown pass, got overthrown. Well, he actually had a couple of them that was overthrown, but one of them was thrown on the spot, but it was well defended by South Carolina's defensive back, the one that jumped up and swatted the ball down. Feels on the lips. Sorry about that, but yeah, one was Bernard was open for another easy walk-in touchdown, basically. It would wind up being a walk-in touchdown, but like I said, the South Carolina defensive back swatted it down. Sorry, y'all. I've been dealing with the cold this past week. I'm just now getting over one. Make sure I didn't have no cliffhangers, you know what I mean? Not trying to be disgusting, but excuse me. But anyways, like I said, Ty had some overthrows. He threw the ball too high. Overthrew our receivers, but like I said, he was trigger happy. Offensive line letting a lot of guys through. Daniel Hill, despite being a good running back, he's not that great at blocking. He needs to work on blocking. I noticed he missed a block on that play where Ty got hit and fumbled. Yeah, I noticed that one. So, yeah, that's probably why Daniel Hill ain't starting. Oh, and Jam Miller's good too, Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. But sorry, y'all. Usually when I'm going through cold and flu season, I'm all touchy on my face and stuff, But anyways, despite being 50% on his passes, Ty, he was 24-43, he still was able to pass for 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. Which, one of them touchdowns came at the end of the game. He threw to Bernard on like a little out route, like a little screen, whatever you want to call it. He threw to Bernard. Then, of course, Bernard ran the go-ahead touchdown in for a touchdown, Although a lot of people say the South Carolina player backed up and let him run in to preserve time so they have time to score, because they knew more than likely Alabama, if he was South Carolina knew they'd tackle Bernard short of a touchdown, more than likely Alabama ran the time in and scored then, or ran the time down and kicked the field goal, which they must not have seen our field goal kicker kick lately. Because they know they went, hell, even though it would have been a chip shot, it's Alabama's field goal kicker. Like, probably the last really good field goal kicker we had probably in the last 15 years was getting tongue-tied here, Will Reichert. That was the last good field goal kicker we probably had in the last 15 years. We had some okay ones, during the Saban era, but the last real good one we actually had was Will Reichert. I'm getting damn tongue-tied for some reason. But anyways, let's see. And speaking of Bernard, he had 3 carries for 23 yards and 5 receptions for 54 yards in the touchdown, which I mentioned that a while ago, the touchdown reception he had. But Bernard, he's outside Ty Simpson, he's been our best player lately. He's been playing like a beast, man. And like in the last 2 minutes of this game, he came through. Although, the South Carolina player looked like he did let him score. And I just got done talking about why that was, to preserve time. And when I look back at it, he does throw his hands up and give up on pursuit. So that's a good possibility, which I believe that's the reason he did it. Yeah, it was to preserve time, So South Carolina have a chance to get the ball back and have enough time to score, which I get that, But anyways, as far as the other stats, Ryan Williams, he had a couple of drops, which I really can't bag on him for this game for drops, because like I said, everybody had drops in this game. But he did have 7 receptions for 72 yards. And let's see, and Josh Cuevas, our tight end, Josh Cuevas had 3 receptions, 16 yards and a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, he also caught the 2-point conversion too. I could be wrong on that. But if I remember correctly, it was him that caught the 2-point conversion. Let's see what other stats we got here. Daniel Hill, he had 76 receiving yards, and he had 3 carries for 10 yards. Like I said, he's starting to improve for the running back position, but he needs to work on his blocking, his pass blocking. Because I noticed on that, like I just got done saying, I noticed on that play where Ty got hit and fumbled, Daniel Hill let a guy run right by him, man. Don't get me wrong, he attempted to make, if you want to call it an attempt to make a block, but he needs to work on his speed when it comes to that blocking, because that guy just shot on around him and nailed Ty Simpson. And I believe that had a lot to do with Ty Simpson's high throws after being pressured all game. He hit a lot. He started getting trigger happy. But, like I said, I was upset while watching the game, because that most fans are. That's what fans do. But when you actually stop during the heat of the battle, you're going to be upset and you ain't thinking much. You're just thinking about what's going on at the time. But after the game was over and when I stopped and thought about it, I was like, hell, I knew before this game started it's going to be close, especially considering the gauntlet they just been through. So, I'm giving our guys a benefit of the doubt, man. Which, hell, it ain't just a benefit of the doubt. I know that's what it is. Let me tell you, just wait till after this bye week, after they're rested up. They're going to come back playing even better. At least I hope they are. I suspect they are. I'll put it that way. After they get rested up, healed up, get everything together, I pretty much believe they're going to wrap up the season pretty damn good. Anyways, one thing I did enjoy of that game, all the South Carolina fans counting their chickens before they hatch. It was funny when the camera panned back, it showed all the fans running down the walkway to get to the fence of the field, get to the edge of the field so they can storm the field after they beat Alabama. Now, that part of the game was funny. Well, I quite enjoyed that. But you notice that Alabama is the only team that fans storm the field on when they beat? You can't claim that, can you now, Georgia? Yeah, I said Georgia. Y'all like to compare yourself to Alabama. And I got a little beef with y'all right now, which I'm about to get into. Y'all cheering on South Carolina and shit, man, just because y'all can't beat Alabama? That's pretty damn pathetic, man. That's what you call haters. Alabama, well, y'all are not Alabama's rivals. But y'all cheer on any team that plays Alabama, which I explained in earlier videos. Because of that, I cheer on any team that plays Georgia. Yeah, except for maybe Auburn, of course. During the Georgia and Auburn game, which I call the Crybaby Bowl, that one's a toss-up. But yeah, other than that, I cheer on any team that plays Georgia. It's not because I hate your team. Well, I do now, but it ain't because your team per se itself. It's because you're sorry-ass fans. Bunch of crybabies, man. Go and fucking damn hate on Alabama, cheer for teams pulling against Alabama. Then y'all got the nerve to say we got lucky to get out of that one. Well, y'all need to learn the difference between luck and skill. You know, that's why I don't like Georgia and Auburn. That's why I always say Georgia and Auburn are two peas in a pod. They both have the same characteristics. They both like to accuse Alabama of what they're guilty of doing. Like Georgia. All the times they blame the refs for the reason of Alabama beating them. And look what happened during the Crybaby Bowl when they played Auburn. The refs helped them out quite a bit. And yeah, I say the refs helped Georgia win that game. Momentum is a real thing. That's why Auburn went playing that good in the second half. You know, when all that happened to Auburn, when that touchdown got taken away from Auburn, yes, I said the touchdown taken away from Auburn. That ball crossed the goal line before it was moving. I don't care what you damn Georgia fans say. I saw it. It was a touchdown Auburn. Then when the refs continued to help Georgia, yeah, that took Auburn's momentum. But it's funny, though, because all of them times y'all accused the refs of helping Alabama. But when actuality, they helped y'all. All the times y'all claim the SEC and the NCAA always trying to help Alabama. Excuse me, the NCAA, yeah, always trying to help Alabama. But yeah, y'all get the easiest schedule. Let's see. Only tough teams y'all play is what? Y'all play with what? Like only 3 tough teams? What? That's Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia Tech. That's about the only 3 tough teams y'all played this year? Huh? What's up with that, Georgia? How come y'all always getting soft schedules? Only 3 tough teams. Hell, that gauntlet Alabama just went through was 4 of them. That's one more than 3 tough teams y'all get on y'all's whole damn schedule. Alabama just had to play 4 tough teams. Well, I say 3.5 actually, because Tennessee, they okay, you know. They may be a little tough. So that means y'all have 3.5 on y'all schedule. But hell, Alabama played that in 1 run. Y'all want to talk about everybody favoring Alabama? Man, please. And this thing about Alabama getting lucky? Y'all don't know the difference between skill and luck. No, what I would actually call luck is how y'all magically happen to play teams, happen to come across teams when their star players are injured. That's what I call luck right there. See, like last year's Florida game. Florida had y'all's ass beat in that game. But that damn backup quarterback wasn't worth the shit. They had the quarterback slightly better than him. And yeah, I know DJ Lagway ain't all that damn great, but he was better than that backup Florida had last year. But DJ was hurting that game. And y'all barely escaped that Florida game. DJ Lagway would have been in that game last year. Florida would have kicked y'all's ass last year. And when y'all played Tennessee, y'all should have lost that game. Y'all just got lucky the kicker missed the damn field goal. That's what you call luck. It ain't like Georgia blocked the field goal. Nah, a lot of Georgia fans said Alabama got lucky. Lenore Sellers fumbled on that last play, on South Carolina's last offensive play. No, that was skill because our linebacker stripped the ball. Lawson stripped the ball. Now, if Lenore Sellers had been running and he hadn't have dropped the ball and fumbled that way, yeah, that'd have been luck. But you know what? It didn't happen that way. That only happens for teams like Georgia. No, Lawson stripped the ball. That's why he fumbled. So that's skill, not luck. Learn the difference. Yeah, and I'm especially talking to you, big dog Brett. Or you talking about that's luck, man? You the biggest hater of them all. I seen all your videos, dude. You either saying Alabama's lucky, or you sitting there talking about, oh, look at that penalty. Look at their penalty. They missed their balls. Man, you don't know the difference between luck and skill, man. All you do is complain, man. Cry about Alabama. You watch Alabama just hoping they'll lose, man. So you make your little video where you can laugh at them. Damn, get a life, dude. Put the haterade down. And learn the rules of football, man. Because I seen you claim that something was a pass interference, and it wasn't. In last year's Alabama and Georgia game. But you won't call out the shit Georgia gets away with. Oh, no. Man, you know, I really hate bringing up Georgia in my damn videos, but you fucking Georgia fans, y'all make it hard not to do. You know, you got a problem with Alabama, beat them your damn selves. Oh, that's right. Y'all too fucking weak to beat Alabama. Or you might get lucky and come across them in the playoffs. You know, Alabama may have some injuries, then you'll come across them in the playoffs because that's how Georgia luck goes. That's the only way y'all can win. Talking about Alabama got lucky escaping that South Carolina game. Alabama escaped that South Carolina game because Ryan Grubb got his fucking play calling together finally. That's what you call true grit. That's what you call winners, man. Y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of fucking whiners. Weak-ass whiners. So get a life, put the haterade down. If you want to beat Alabama, do it your fucking selves. Nut up and do it yourselves. Anyways, that's all I have for today. And as always, God bless and roll tide.